अपने જ્યારે પણ हम भी पढ़ रहे थे हिस्ट्री का लेसन ऐसा वो बोले थे आई रिमेम्बर द एग्जैक्ट वर्ड इज लाइक सर थॉमस रो सर लाइक आई डोंट नो दे ऑलवेज वांट सर हम क्यों सर कहे but whatever it's a Sir Thomas Roe got the permission to establish the koti inside the Surat in 1608. But then when I go in deep, so it says that what is the so important of the Surat Bandar in that 16th, 15th century. And that is the reason Shivaji attacked the Surat for 2 times to rob it. And like so many people, like surprise, it's like Hindu Raja attacked the Hindu public. But it is like so much complicated history of the India, and that's like not as uh, uh, like simple like other countries or people's history. So that time Surat was the like you can say today's Mundra Bandar or Kanla Bandar, and like lot of most of the uh, व्यापार जो हो रहा था especially with the west and people going to the Hajj from also there. So it's a big center, and anybody want to do the business in India, they have to start from the Surat. And 1608, British do the two things. On the west, they sent this Thomas Roe to establish the Koti in a Surat, and they sent in the east the some other guy to establish the English establishment in the Virginia coast. So like from the 1608, it started on the two side, and it's eventually grew up. One is in a empire in India, one is the grew up eventually in America. So like 1608 is very very important things. Like if we see that, so this like history go back like started from the 1452 when Ottoman Empire captured the eastern Constantinople, today's Istanbul, and then they stopped all this business between the west and east because it was a main route of the business. All the spices was used to come from this route to the Europe, and then Europe has to eat the meat. Like they are going crazy, like eating the cow without any kind of the spice, and they're going crazy, but they don't have any choice. They cannot get it, maybe in a black market also. So like they want to get the things, and on those times the Danish peoples are very smart, and even from today's part also they are very successful. So Danish is the one like they first find out the Indonesia islands, and around like 1592 94 or something 95, and in those case that like the Columbus first discovered, because the westerners was looking for India, so the everybody got failed in going to east. So Columbus says let me go west, and then he eventually discovered Americas. So and in 1498 from the Good Hope, the point of the Good Hope from the South Africa, the Gujarati merchant met with the Vasco da Gama, and then he find out that he was looking for India, road to go India, and then he come with the Gujarati merchant to the Malabar, and that's where the Portuguese discovered the route to India. And that is the way history go. But the Dutch, and that time for the whole century, it was a wild west, because every mission go for the spies, like there are a lot of piracy and everything going on, and like whoever able to achieve the successful roundup by the spices, he become suddenly rich overnight, and whoever failed this suddenly broke out. So the first is the Dutch is the one who come up with the idea of the Dutch East India Company in 1602, I think. and they like collected all the merchant who used to do the spice business, and then they make them the stakeholder. They are the shareholder. This is the new stock exchange things that we showing this business activity that is initially invented by the Dutch. So they give the stakehold of the each merchant, and then they form the Dutch East India Company in 1602, and then they give the like lot of power to them, including keeping the like their own army and establishing their own state and all these things. And then they go to the Java and Sumatra and Indonesia and some country, and there was like one prince of the Orange in a Dutch territory. He is the one who is very succeed become, and I think that time Dutch was the rule by the Spaniards, but like this business wise, Dutch are the has a freedom to do anything whatever they want to do, and they eventually become succeed in that. Like they bring back couple of times the spices from the east, and the British is the one who saw this success, and they saw this kind of the formation of the company that they made, and then that is the reason then British Raj gave made the British East India Company around 1608, and then give them the uh, permission to do the business in India. So it is only East India Company who is authorized to do the business of the spice to the India. Nobody else, no person, no company. That's it. And before that also, like British always try to do the business with the India, but like the India has already Portuguese came before that, because Portuguese Vasco da Gama came on a 1498. So within 100 years they have a lot of power and everything. So like they are controlling everything. If you see the map of the Gujarat, like all the routes going towards the Surat was the controlled by the like small channel that is started from the Daman, like small town called Daman on the west coast. And that one first Portuguese decide to take control of that so they can control whole the sea routes, and they first try to get control from the local sultan, and they defeated a couple of times, but eventually they get back, and that's where they establish their rules there. And then once they have a control, they like made the fort and everything, and they successfully handle the business for the whole 16th century. Like from the 1498 Vasco da Gama discover the route, and then from the 15 like 5 or 1510 up to the 1599 1590 they control whole route. And it is only from the beginning of the 1601 1602 and finally 1608 that British able to get hold to the India, because something happened to the Jahangir, and uh, like a British doctor cure its disease or its relative disease or something happened. So this is the way. Only thing I'm trying to say is the how the history go from one side to another side. 1608 is the really very important year, and we should teach that. We should teach that in Indian history to everybody, that when India was the center of the world, how other countries go around that center and come around that and eventually grab it. But once we learn the lesson how other people grab it in a like 5 centuries, from 15th century to the 1920th century, we can learn not to repeat it again. So we should teach that history in Indian course. That is very important things. Thank you.